Having a backup of your WordPress website is the most important thing you must do. Running your blog or business without it can hurt you if your website breaks, or your hosting fails, or your website gets hacked. It is like playing with fire and hoping you will not get burned. After many years of developing and maintaining WordPress websites, plugins, and applications, I can tell you for sure that your website will break. It is just a matter of time before that happens, and you need to be prepared. Today, I will show you 3 ways you can back up your WordPress website, and as a bonus and for fun, I will show you a 4th way. There are 3 main ways you can automatically back up your website, and there is at least one manual one. You can create a backup through your CPanel, with a plugin, or with an offsite software. You must host your website in order to run, and every hosting provider will have some sort of backup in place. So if you are not currently running backups on your website, there is a pretty good chance that your hosting provider does. To verify that your hosting has backups in place, log in to your hosting account, access your CPanel or dashboard, and look for a backup section. I never had a hosting provider who didn't have that section inside of the CPanel or dashboard. If for some reason you don't see the backups or you don't see the section on your CPanel, contact your hosting provider and ask about it. If they tell you that they don't run backups, I advise you to look for a different hosting provider. Servers can fail, and if the server your website is on breaks, guess what? Your website is lost forever. Well, almost lost. There are ways you can still get some of the content back, but it will take you a long time, and it's not an ideal solution. There are some advantages to use backups from your CPanel. It is there without you doing anything or installing any software or plugin. It will not take space on your website. You can always roll back your whole website if something breaks, but in my opinion, it is not the best solution to rely on. It is hard to restore backups with some hosting provider. It is not just one click and your whole website will be restored. You don't have control over how often you want your backups to run, and sometimes you have to rely on your hosting to restore your website. The second option is plugins, and there are tons of plugins that will help you back up your website. You can get a free plugin or a paid plugin. Each plugin is different and they offer different functionality or settings. Let me show you what I think is a good plugin.
The first thing that you need to do is go inside of your WordPress website and log in. Go under plugins, add new, and search for backup. The plugin that we'll be going to use is this one, Updraft Plus WordPress. Activate. To set the plugin up, press on the pop-up window on the press here to start. Backup now. And you want to include the database inside of your backup, and you want to include the files into the backup, and click backup now. You will do the backup of your website at the current time. To set it up so your plugin will back up your website every day, go to the settings, and you can select the interval of time you want your backup to run. You can put it daily. And here you can select how many backups you want the plugin to retain. You can use, for example, 4. You have to do the same for the database as we did for the file system, because the database has all the content, and if for some reason your website crashes and you want to restore it, you need the database in order to restore all the content, not only the files. And here you can select where you want your backups to be stored. You can either select from their vault, which will be $1 a month, or on other places. If you have Amazon or Dropbox or something like that, you can store them. I highly encourage you to store them off your website, because if your hosting fails, or if the server that your website is hosting on fails, you can lose your website. And if the backups are stored on the same place, obviously you have no backups. That's about it for the plugin section.
Backing up your WordPress website with a plugin can be a good solution because you can set how often your backups run. You can also select where you want to store them, and it will not add a lot of stress on your website. But it's not the best solution in my opinion, because you have to provide the plugin, the storage, where you want your backups to be stored. If you have a large website, that can be a bit of an issue because you will have to pay for that storage. It adds some security vulnerabilities. Each plugin that you add on your WordPress website has security flaws. The more you have, the more vulnerable your website will be. The third option you have is offsite software. There are a couple of services out there that will back up your website. This is my go-to method, and I am using ManageWP. I like it because it saves my backups on their storage. It will not affect the website performance. It has more useful features, and you can use it for free. Well, not really. If you want to back up your WordPress website daily, you have to pay $2 a month, which is pretty cheap if you ask me. Let's see how you can set up ManageWP on your website.
To set backups with ManageWP, you have to go to managewp.com. And if you don't have an account, you can sign up for free, or if you have an account, just log in. To add a new website, you have to click add another website or add website. You have to specify the URL of your website. Add website. You have to give your username and password. Wait a few moments until ManageWP connects to your website. And after that, you can go to the website dashboard. To back your website up, you have to go inside of the backups. You see, they already created a backup for me whenever I connected my website to ManageWP. If you want to do manual backups or schedule backups more often than once a month, because the once a month is free, you have to upgrade the backup add-on, which will be $2 a month. To restore a website, here is pretty easy. You can select, obviously I don't have any other backups, but you can select the backup from your calendar and just hit restore button. And depending on the size of your website, it will take probably from less than a minute to, I don't know, depends on the website size. That's about it for the ManageWP.
The bonus option is the manual way. I don't know why would you do that, but I wanted you to know that you have this option. So let's see how you can do it.
To do a manual backup, you have to log in with your hosting provider and go to your CPanel or dashboard. In my case, I don't have a CPanel, I have a dashboard. So there are two steps that you have to make in order to make a manual backup on your website. First, you have to go inside of the file manager and go to public HTML. You have to select all the files and directories. Right click and click archive. Give it a name. This will be stored inside of your website file system. The next step that you have to do is go inside of MySQL. After you go to MySQL, you have to go under PHP MyAdmin and log in inside of your PHP MyAdmin. Most of the hosting servers will save the login information for the PHP MyAdmin, but if they don't save it, you'll have that information provided somewhere. Here you have to back up the database of the website that you want to back up. I have two here. The easiest way to find out which one is which, you can go inside of one of them and go to the options table. The prefix is before the options will be different from website to website, but you have to look for the options table. And when you open it, you want to see the site URL and home URL, and will be your website home URL. If this database is not the one that you're looking for, if you have multiple databases, you can look inside here. So I want to restore this. I want to back up this one, and to do that, I have to go to export and quick it's fine and go. This created a database dump for me. Basically, it contains every single thing that the database had on it at the moment of the backup. You can either update this to your WordPress website, which I don't encourage, or update it on a cloud service or online storage, whatever works for you, or on your PC, and do the same with the zip file that you did for the files of your website. Obviously, this is not ideal, but this can come in handy if you want to migrate your website manually from one hosting provider to another hosting provider, and also if you want to create local environment. You can still use plugins to do the backups and restore them on your local environments, but sometimes I find this approach is better than actually using a plugin. I had mixed results with plugins migrating websites. Sometimes the plugins are getting errors, or they cannot export a large website. So this will come in handy, as I told you, if you want to migrate your website or to do backups. And that's about it for the manual way of doing backups.
I am sure there are more ways you can back up your WordPress website, but I think those are the most important ones. If you like this video, back me up with a subscribe and a thumbs up.